Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we just have the small matter of previewing and trying to predict an Old Firm final. No pressure. But before we go any further on with today's video, a shout out to this month's sponsor, OneFootball. They are absolute legends besides the green logo, of course. But it's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and it just gives you the latest Rangers news, if that is the team you support. But we need to get in and discuss this video, ladies and gentlemen, because it's been a long time coming, and here we go. And as always, let's start off with the opposition preview then, and that just happens to be Celtic Football Club. And I've got to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, coming into this game of football, Celtic pretty much confidence has to be sky high, as they've won 11 games in all competitions in a row. The last game that they actually lost was a 2-0 loss versus Livingston. Since then, they've won every single game. Within those games, by the way, there's some very impressive European results, as well as they've reached the knockouts of the Europa League. So 11 wins in a row, reaching the knockouts of the Europa League. I think it's fair to say Celtic Football Club are enjoying a decent bit of form. And speaking of form, by the way, one of the many reasons Celtic are on this win and run is because of a man by the name of Ryan Christie. If you think back to the league prediction video we done before a ball was even kicked this season, I put Celtic in second. By the way, hello, that's still going to happen. But I also picked out Ryan Christie as being their key man throughout the season, even though last season and stuff like it wasn't doing too terrifically well. I just looked at him, I thought he would be able to be their guy, and that's certainly the way it seems to be from the outside looking in at Celtic, that he is their main guy, both creatively and putting the ball into the back of the net, as most recently as this week he has overtaken Edouard to be their top goal scorer so far this season. However, that leads me perfectly into my next talking point about this Celtic team, and that is going to be the old fitness of Edouard going into this cup final. Because that is one of the most talked about things going into this final from the Celtic perspective. Is Edouard going to be fit for the final? Is it going to play? I think we all know the answer, but it does have to be said he has missed the last two matches. The first one earlier on in the week where he missed the Ross County game, then the easy warm-up game they had at home versus Hamilton, he missed that as well. But it goes even deeper, ladies and gentlemen. He's even not been pictured in the last training session ahead of the final, so that has got everyone talking. Is Edouard going to be missing? Is Lewis Morgan going to have to start up front versus Rangers, or is Christie going to be the solo man up there? There's all this speculation and all this talk, and if I'm just being brutally honest, I smell shit. And for once, it's not coming from the backside of Rocky Boy Johnson. Nah. This whole circus, this whether or not he's going to be playing or he's going to be involved in the game at all, is just utter drivel in my personal opinion. It's just like weird mind games. I don't think there's even a shred of a chance that Edouard is not playing some part of the game tomorrow versus the Glasgow Rangers. But that is the news, and it may affect your prediction later on in today's video. And if I'm honest with you, that's pretty much it for the Celtic preview. There's not too much detail out there. It's mostly he said this, he said that kind of clippings. There's not much news to dive into, but what we do know about this Celtic team is they are a very, very good attacking side. They have pace sprinkled throughout their squad and on their bench. Pace isn't an issue when it comes to Celtic Football Club, and we showed in the first game against Celtic in September, if we do allow them to pass the ball, if we do step off them and let them play, they could really, really hurt us. So let's hope we're going to go back to what was working last season, getting in their faces, not allowing them any space to pass the ball, because that is the only way to genuinely slow this Celtic team down. If you do what you did in September and you sit off them, you try and battle this midfield and keep that line and just allow them to pass the ball, I mean, you saw the results. It was horrific in September. We need to go after them for the very first whistle. But with all that being said, let's turn our attention away from Celtic and get back to what matters most, and that is talking about Rangers. And we're going to start the Rangers preview off pretty much the exact same way as we did the Celtic one, where we talked about their 11-game undefeated streak. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know it doesn't quite feel like it after Wednesday because of that punch in the crown jewels, but it has to be said, Rangers are currently undefeated in the last 12 games, one above. The only difference is obviously Celtic's one of theirs. Our 12-game undefeated streak has a couple of draws sprinkled in. But still, it shows you this Rangers got a bit of grit and determination. Even when they aren't playing well, they aren't losing games. In fact, if you look at their last game they lost, it was that ludicrous game versus Young Boys where we gifted the opposition 2 goals and bet ourselves. But since that, 12 games have gone and Rangers haven't lost again. So you've got Rangers on a 12-game undefeated streak. You've got Celtic on an 11-game undefeated streak. Something has to give tomorrow. Now, however, it's time to recap the old press conference. Now, if you would like to see the entire thing, as always, that is on the official Rangers YouTube channel. You've got a 13-minute interview with Steven Gerrard, and I think 13 minutes as well with the captain, if you would like to see them in their entirety. What we're going to be doing in today's video is just discussing a couple of key points I think you guys would be very, very interested in. The first one, however, is going to come from the Steven Gerrard press conference, obviously. And the reason I say that is because it featured the one question that's actually relevant, on task, and is actually quite an interesting question I think we all wanted to know, and it was about the differences between September to now. What do Rangers have to do differently? And Gerrard, without skipping a beat, he looked directly at the camera, his face changed, and he went, avoid individual mistakes. That right there, it almost felt like it wasn't for us, it wasn't for the fans, it wasn't for the media. That was a direct message to these Rangers players, because if you look at the games and you look at the games we haven't been winning, it's pretty much all down to individual mistakes. So I think from that warning sign from Steven Gerrard that the mistakes cannot happen tomorrow, otherwise it could be curtains. And I think that was perfectly summed up by the fact that he finished that sentence or that answer to the media by saying, we can't afford to carry anyone. He was in a bullish mood when talking about this exact subject. It was the most serious and most direct that it was, and it felt like it was a message directly to the players. Moving away from that though, and talking about the next talking point, you knew it was coming. It was about Alfredo frickin' Morelos, and this time it wasn't about his temperament, it wasn't about the usual stuff that gets asked. They actually asked Steven Gerrard if this, a goal against Celtic, is the last tick that Alfredo Morelos needs to show and prove his doubters wrong. And I absolutely love, and I mean love, the way that Steven Gerrard just sort of rubbished this question by the way that he responded, by keeping it very short and very sweet, by saying Alfredo Morelos has already showed he's a top player. He doesn't need a goal against Celtic to prove that to anyone. And jumping off the back of where Steven Gerrard left off, all I'm going to say is anyone that still doubts how good Alfredo Morelos is, or doubts the quality of Alfredo Morelos, is nothing, and I mean nothing, but blinded by their own obsessed hatred of Rangers. However, with that being said, that's us all sort of done and dusty with the press conference from Steven Gerrard especially. There was a lot of questions that we've already heard numerous times, and if I'm honest with you, one of the main themes that continued to crop up every single time it was brought up about his past experience with playing the finals, this and this and this, it continued to say it's not about him, it's not about Steven Gerrard, it's about delivering the fans a trophy, and I absolutely love that he continued to bring it back to that. Regarding the James Tavernier one, it's still a very good watch, but there's not really too many talking points, and I didn't want to waste a single second of my day talking about Chris Sutton in any stretch of the imagination and the words he had to say about Tavernier being a serial loser. So we're not even going to discuss that, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, we're going to jump right over to the very first question of today's episode, and it's one that's a bit of a hot topic right now. There's a lot of debate, there's a lot of discussion, so I would like to see what the nation are thinking about it. Who do you go with your centre halves? Now, Connor Goldson and Hollander put in a pretty horrific showing on Wednesday, and you all know I'm a Connor Goldson guy. I defend them all the time. I love the guy, but I cannot defend that performance. However, do you give them another opportunity and another chance to show their strengths and what they've done against Porto, etc. in this cup final, or do you bring back in Nikola Katic and unleash him versus Celtic? What are you thinking? What do you think about the defensive situation? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the comment section below. And while you guys are hopefully getting involved in the question of the episode, let's dive over to some latest team news then, shall we? And the first one is a sort of pick-me-up story regarding Bonabir Barisic, who was a massive loss on Wednesday. You think about loss and people not playing, Bonabir Barisic was a huge blow to our entire setup. You think about it, there was no penetration at all down that left-hand side. The left-hand side has been arguably better than the right in the last few weeks. There was none at all in the left, and that was simply because BB was not able to play in the game. But thankfully, him missing that game and being rested looks like it's given him a boost ahead of the final, because all signs, as I'm currently recording today's video, look good for BB to start. And that sort of transitions us perfectly, because the entire squad sort of picked up a couple of bruises, a couple of bumps, but nothing too serious, and that's kind of where we are right now. Nothing confirmed, just like Bonabir Barisic, but all signs are good that everyone is fully fit and ready to play against Celtic. And that is some latest team news for you. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about the fixture. That will help you with the next part in today's video, and that is your prediction on, ladies and gentlemen. So while you guys share your opinion on the game tomorrow, good luck, by the way. Hopefully one of you nail it. That's a positive for Rangers, that is. But I am going to go with a very feisty encounter, back and forth all damn day. But I am going to go with Rangers 3, Celtic 2. That's right, I'm expecting goals. And speaking of goals, by the way, my goal scorers will be Alfredo Morelos. I think not only one goal's coming, I'm expecting a dirty double from Alfredo. That's right. Just like buses, you wait for ages, and then 2 comes at the same time. However, I think the game winner is actually going to come from the captain himself, James Tavernier, who's been under so much scrutiny. It's been frightening in the build-up to this final. A lot of things said, a lot of personal digs at the man, but I'm expecting the captain to stand up. And I'm hoping for some sweet, sweet revenge on everyone who talked crap about the captain. So that's it. Now that me and thee have had their say, let's jump over to Twitter then and hear from the people. So over to Twitter then, there's actually been 2,488 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 8% votes for Celtic, so that leaves 92% of the people voting for a Rangers win. So let's see what the people had to say. The first one comes in from Dylan Sharkey, and he writes in 3-2 Rangers, Morelos, Kent and Connor Golson to score. I know it'll be a tough match, but I hope Rangers can get a win. Keemstar writes in 2-0 Morelos and Ryan Jack to bring the trophy home. Stuart Ward writes in 2-1 Morelos and Jack. Jude writes in 1-0 Celtic, don't kill me. Think Goldson will make some mistake and Forrest will get in behind and score. Jordan writes in 2-1 Morelos dirty double. Deaky Neil goes 3-2 Alfie hat-trick. Now that would be pretty damn nice to see. Pistol 7892 writes in got to be CJ. We need this one. 2-1 Rangers. Morelos and Jack. We need a great defensive display and I would personally bring Katic back in. Pistol's that much of a channel legend. He understands the question of the episode before it's even asked. And he's went ahead and answered it, so shout out to him. Andrew Bluebells writes in 2-0 Rangers Morelos to put them to the sword and score both goals. Cammy McFarlane wrote in, sorry I clicked the wrong one. Sorry mate. 2-1 Rangers, Kent and Morelos to score and Ward to score for Celtic. Larson's son writes in, sorry, 3-1 Celtic, Edward, Elanusse and Christie to score. Ryan Kent for use. Bob Steele writes in, think it'll be tight but believe we can get this done. 2-1. Alex Fergie actually writes in 1-1 at 90 minutes, 2-1 after extra time. Goal scorers 2 for El Buffalo and 1 for Edward. I see what you've done there. Nice one, Alex. Nice one. Alan Douglas writes in 2-1 to the famous. A lot of channel favourites coming in here. JVC Cam 96 writes in, hope yous win CJ. 2-1 Rangers win and Morelos to score both Rangers goals. And the last 2 or 3 that we'll read out, we'll scroll nearer to the bottom to give everyone a chance. The first one comes in from Lee Wren. He simply writes in El Buffalo hat-trick. David McDonald writes in Rangers 3-1. Morelos first goal. That's the bet, CJ. That's the bet. And the last one we'll read out actually comes from Ali Stewart, and he writes in 1-0 Rangers. Glenn Kamara with the winner. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is a massive game. You've heard from me, you've heard from the people, and hopefully you've got involved in today's video. If you haven't done it yet, you know what to do by now. And as always, I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you for spending a wee bit of your time watching today's video. I will see you tomorrow, and bye.